欢迎来到 Bluerider ART 蓝骑士艺术台北敦化馆，这是2026年春天的第一档展览 Wolfgang Flad 未来型。我们很荣幸呢邀请到艺术家Wolfgang Flad 特别从德国飞来台湾与大家交流，我们也来探讨一下他的创作的理念。Hi Wolfgang, welcome to Taiwan.
Hello Elsa,
Yeah.
Thank you very much for your beautiful invitation for this exhibition.
And this is your first trip to Taiwan, right?
It's my very first time to Asia in general, so I'm very happy to be here in Taiwan in this beautiful part of the year.
Yeah.
Sunshiny and really beautiful city. Yeah,
Thank you.
I'm impressed.
So I have a few questions for you.
Yes.
And first, in your work, matter seems to be constantly transforming rather than existing as a fixed form. Do you see sculpture as a finished object or as a moment with an ongoing material process?
That's a very beautiful question because my work is a lot about movement in space, and I'm trying to draw a line in the space with an organic form language. And when it's about organic, it's about growing, it's about developing, growing. And so my sculptures are made out of recycled materials, paper mache, wood, and I build and create this movement. And in a second step, I also do reuse my own sculpture. So I cut and keep on working on it again. When the works are coming back to my studio, I work again on my own sculptures and I combine elements together or sculptures together. So the form language gets more and more complex. And if you want so, it's a kind of ongoing, growing process.
Mm-hmm. And the next, your sculptures challenge the traditional idea of sculpture as solid volume. How do you translate this idea into your artistic practice?
So yeah, you're right. The artistic basic questions about sculpture is usually about volumes, proportions, materials, and I'm turning around the process completely. And it is really most of my sculpture volume is air. I'm working a lot, drawing a line through air, around air, to define a place or a volume of air, negative space if you want so. Or so very light, very easy, very moving. For me, it's more about moving instead of static.
The negative space idea is very similar to the Chinese painting philosophy of what we call the Liu Bai. It's the white part of the painting. It's very similar to your idea. Yeah.
It's interesting because when I think back to my artistic developing, so I started drawing a lot, and I learned about this idea, focus on not on the object you're drawing, focus on the space around. And this gives, by a sudden, a very good intuition for volumes or proportions. And it's interesting, I've never thought about that since then, but in the sculptures, it's exactly the same. I'm focusing on the space around, or the space I'm defining, and not so much into the lines or circles I'm building.
Yeah. So your works often appear organic, almost like living structures. What role do the ideas of the cosmos, the nature or growth, play in your thinking about form?
Yeah, the cosmos is, it's all about life. It's full of structures, full of living, interesting surface, interesting structures you find everywhere. And this is what I'm going through life with open eyes, trying to recognize, or I don't need to try, it's automatically recognize all the little details, all the things dropping on the earth and the interesting surfaces. So and you can scale that into the universe. You can scale that into the Milk Street. And I love to transform also my work into something artistically interpretation of nature, and working with these structures and putting the attention to erosions could have been grown into in millions of years, but for sure it's made in let's say it could be happen in seconds. So yeah, my form language is really based on a deeper understanding of how nature works, how the universe works, not in a scientific way, in an artistic way, in an artistic interpretation, in an artistic focusing, and focusing on details, focusing on structures.
An artistic expression of a scientific phenomenon. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing term.
I'm very interested always in reading and understanding scientific news, scientific theories, but I'm far away of being a scientist, and I don't want to be a scientist. I don't want to take the role of teaching about scientific research also, but I'm playing with it, and I have an intuitive understanding or intuitive interpretation of what I see, what I feel. I feel like if I am a filter. I'm a filter. I'm sucking everything up. I'm reading. I'm listening. I'm looking. I'm sensitive to a lot of things, and trying to digest it into an own artistic language and focusing on it, giving a interpretation, my own interpretation of the world or the universe, if you want so, into my art.
And you work with a wide range of materials, including wood, metal, glass, and recycled elements. To what extent does the material itself influence the final form of your art, like sculpture?
This is also a very fine understanding of my work, because I'm not focusing on one material or specialized in how to use stone or how to use wood or how to use... I'm really experimenting and trying out what is the potential of the material, or what do I need to express what I want to show, or what I... And often the artistic potential is already in the material itself. And very often is also about the easy way of using it or combining things, or... So the easiest way is mostly the most logic and the most beautiful way for me. It's always for me. So your work seems not only to be objects to look at, but also special experiences that reflect one's inner perception. What kind of a response or awareness do you hope viewers will have when they're encountering your artworks? I mean, my biggest goal would be if people who enjoy my artwork or start getting into it or attached to my artwork, if they start be more sensibilized, more sensitive to all kind of structure, all things, not only in my artwork. If they leave the exhibition, go out, and they have a different view on everything, on things, look closer, look more open, more... So that would be beautiful. And what I try to do with my artwork, also why I use this specific dichromatic glass, for example, in the series Dark Side of the Moon, is I want to seduce the people a bit to... you have different layers in my work. You can go deeper, you can dive into a deeper philosophic or deeper understanding of, or going deeper into the concept, but you can also just appreciate the color play, the mirroring, and I really want to get the people involved in it and seduce them a bit with my work. And it was from the beginning on my goal not to be a conceptual artist where you first have to read an article to understand. You could be easily attached and touched. I mean, if it happens that you are touched by my artwork, that's the most beautiful thing can happen.
I think we've known each other for over 10 years, and we've seen how you evolve from the past, now, and the theme of the exhibition is Forma Futura, which is future form. So I'd like to ask your opinion about the future as materials, production methods, or AI technology especially continue to evolve. How do you imagine the future direction of your art?
I mean, my art is really based on physical approach, physical materiality. So I'm not the AI, for example, the technology aspect in my art is not really existing. If you want so, I'm a very old school artist, working with the material, working with things. What is the future aspect of it is very much that I use, for example, in my series Dust Painting, I only use what is left over from the other sculptures. So materie, which had already a use or a meaning in my sculptures, but was sanded off and ending up as dust and little pieces. They are reused in the next level, in the next work phase of the dust paintings, and layer by layer I edit, and at the end they get white. So this is kind of, maybe you could transform it to the society. We have to be more careful with all the environment, with all the material we have and the sources we have, to reuse it, to see the potential, to see the possibilities we could. I mean, I don't want to be the teacher telling that, but it's about the potential is there everywhere, even in the dust on the ground.
Thank you, and I wish you success.
Yeah, I wish us good success. Thank you so much. Thank you, Elsa. Thank you, all the team.